The Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience. It's time to do this. 2019 PGA season preview. We're going to be talking about our favorite stuff from the 2018 season, previewing all the majors, all the new tournaments, and whatever else comes up along the way. Hit the time code if there's something that you want to specifically go to. And I got some giveaways for you because we're entering the new season of PGA. I want to get everyone as prepared as possible. So there's two giveaways here. Number one, if you give the episode a like and leave your DraftKings handle in the comments section, you can be in the draw for $20 DK if you just tell me who is going to win the Masters in 2019. That should be easy enough. You're in a draw. I'll probably announce the winner either on the Sony Open show, maybe the Tournament of Champions show, whatever one it is. Now, this is the fun one because this is big. So there's two things that you can be eligible for, and you can enter both times. But you have to be very specific with these kind of things. So number one is we have a one and done going on at gupscorner.com. So you can just go and pay the entry fee and go enter. That's what I'm going to do. That's what Jeff's going to do. But if you want to get in the draw for a free entry into the one and done, you share this on social media. So you retweet it on Facebook or on Twitter, you share it on Instagram, you share it on Facebook, whatever. And then if you do it on Twitter, there's no quote tweeting going on here. It's just a pure retweet. Then you reply. And if you reply saying, you just leave like the hashtag GUP, and boom, you're in the draw for a free entry into the Gups Corner one and done. And we'll have other draw giveaways for this as well. Or if you want to get into the draw, and this is the pricier one, and do a draw for a year-long membership to fantasynational.com, then you do the same thing. You go retweet it, you go share it, whatever, and then you reply that hashtag Fantasy National. And then boom, you're in the draw. If you do it twice, hey, you can be in the draw for both of them. We just want to get as much exposure on the show as possible. We want to give you guys something for help spreading the word of the Pat Mayo Experience as it pertains to PGA. Geoff Fienberg is here to break this all down with me. You were telling me that you weren't so pumped about golf, but now we're sitting here and you look so excited.
Yeah, that's essentially how it has happened. In sort of recapping the year and getting a head start on looking forward to the next year, it kind of got me really excited. And I know even though there's heartbreaking Sundays, it's not going to let me down. Like, I'm counting on golf, Pat. Golf will be there for me when the Chargers break my heart, and I'll just be able to tune into the Sony in Hawaii, and it'll just like keep me off the cliff. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I allow myself to think about waving a glow stick in Atlanta for the Super Bowl halftime show.
Do you think they'd let you on the halftime field? Like, how do you become one of the halftime?
Oh, I don't know about that, but okay.
You would you would sneak onto the field?
No. I was fortunate enough to be at the Super Bowl when the Chargers went in 29.
94?
They got their romped by the 49ers. And you get to your seat, and there's like a seat cushion and a little like zipper bag in the seat cushion with your utensils for halftime.
Okay.
You're not like on the field. That's how they get the crowds to be like.
But there are like people on the field who are like jamming to
I don't know about those
Maroon
people.
5.
I just want to be in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, but that's not going to happen.
Okay.
And when it doesn't happen and it comes crashing down, I'll turn and I'll see those waves in Hawaii or the career builders, and it'll bring me down the ledge a little bit. But I am I feel like I always need more of an off season, but now that we're here, I really want it.
It's been gone long enough. Serious golf. Like, I feel like serious golf. We covered the playoffs. I did swing season stuff. We were betting on the swing season.
The Ryder Cup,
all that fun. But I feel like golf ended at the PGA Championship. Like serious golf, because I went to pure football mode right after that.
For me, I'd say more the Ryder Cup, which was week 3 of the NFL.
Okay. I love it. I mean, the Ryder Cup was one of the most profitable things I did all year. Yeah. So that was fantastic. I had a good late season, very poor beginning of the season last year. The second half of the golf season, very profitable from a wagering standpoint. But when we get to our favorite rounds of the year, one of them is going to be on there because it won me a lot of money. I don't think anyone else really cares about that round besides me. So
no, I care about that round because it was one of the darkest moments of my year.
Really? Because it wasn't on TV?
No, wasn't that the round of Siwoo's just insane? Yeah, I had big money on Siwoo. I didn't have your DraftKings lineup with Kodira.
That happens. I also had money on
That
Siwoo.
was a really bad, like he missed, like that would probably be my, to start there. It might have been my toughest beat of the season.
Okay.
How that dark collapse.
Let's get into
DJ losing to Ted Potter.
Okay, let's get into the 2018 recap then. We'll start there. If you want to hear the major talk, and we'll break it down in the schedule, that'll come later. I'll have the time codes in the description in the comment section. I feel like people just want to hear us chat about golf. I want to chat about golf. I'm excited. You know how non-excited I am about most things? I'm excited about this. Yeah. It's like when I do my rankings for in July 4th, when I do my top 300 rankings for fantasy football. I'm like jazzed for fantasy football.
July 4th?
Yeah. And then that's usually when I do them, right over the holiday.
That's when you do them or release them?
That's when I release them. And I'm like, when I'm talking about it, I'm super excited. Like, nothing can go wrong in fantasy this year. This year is going to be my year. Then by week 3, I'm like, fuck, I hate football. This is going to go on for another 3 months. Good God. And it's every day. Golf is not every day. So the schedule for the year, we're going to be doing our show on Mondays, like we normally do. I'll do the DraftKings show on Tuesday in the live chat. I'm assuming I'm going to be doing it with Reed Fowler. Again, I'm trying to work on DraftKings this year to have how like the Daily Fantasy Edge has its own listeners league. So for viewers of the Pat Mayo Experience and listeners of the Pat Mayo Experience, I'm trying to craft a DraftKings tournament that we can all play in every week. I'm thinking right now it's going to be a 3 max, $15 entry. That's not bad. And we'll try to figure out the prize, like if I can work with the DraftKings people to have if it was you and you were playing, would you want a super top heavy payout or a balance payout? Like, I think people like the balance payout.
I'm into balance because I know that I can't overshoot my load.
Yeah.
And I make these great lineups and they finish like 14th.
Yeah, you'd like to get like 2.5 times your money back for something like that.
Well,
it's not going to be like a 10,000 person tournament.
I'm always so torn because I know this debate happens like even with like the one and done, people bugging, gupping the guys how to like space it out. I'm always torn whether to like just really reward the top or to feed everybody.
I don't think, I mean, maybe people can chime in the comment section on this as well or hit us up on Twitter about what's the proper payout. I'm not looking for like first prize to be 5 times as much as second prize. I'm okay cutting it off that like there's no 1.5 times your money. Just cut all those people out. And maybe make fewer spots paid, but all the spots that are paid are more balanced. That would be better for like, I would want that, I think. Like if there was 100 people pay 10 out, but all 10 spots actually pay pretty well. And not everything goes to first prize.
Listen, anytime before the event, I'm always down with getting rid of the like 1.5 times payout.
It's like the third place.
But then like Sunday night, I might be like, I came
11th. Yeah. And we don't know how many people it's going to. I think people. I remember I used to when I was at Fantasy. I used to run like the $20 single entry every week. Filled up every week.
Filled up.
And like Wiley runs his. He gets a bunch of people in. Gup runs his. I want to concentrate one that's
junkies. Everyone runs a league.
Yeah. So I want to get this one going. Like I said, 3 max entry, not necessarily a single entry one, and maybe we can build it up and we can get everyone from all the other shows. They can come play. It's something we can talk about on the show too, and hopefully I can try to beat them down on the rake when it comes down to it. Like there's going to be rake because it's a contest, but maybe lower rake. We don't need 17% rake, maybe like 7% rake, something like that. Something to really get it in there. I want to make it public too, out to the people. So
it's like when I buy U.S. money from my dad.
Yeah.
He charges me less than the bank, but it's still
the bank is
still
the bank is the biggest ripoff when it comes to exchange rate ever. Yeah. So is PayPal.
Oh.
PayPal just shoots you in the head. Because you're paying on both
except ends. When you beat people, except when they're sending you money.
Yeah, when they send you U.S. money, you're like, this is top notch. But you're still not getting the same exchange.
No.
You're losing like 4 cents per dollar on what the actual exchange is. All right, 2018 recap. Let's start with worst shot.
Well, I kind of just started with my like worst.
We'll get to I just want to talk about the worst shot of the year. And maybe this is worst beat of the year because you ended up winning on this. So we'll call it worst shot, worst beat. You would bet Dustin at Pebble, right?
Yeah.
And Ted Potter beat him.
Oh, so you're talking about that was on
that,
par 3, the OB?
No, that's just for you. That's your worst beat of the year, right?
I don't know about worst beat. The Siwoo beat was probably really painful because what was he up? He was up like 3 with 4 to go or something. And he kept missing like 4 and 5
he
footers.
Was. There was there's no, because I believe he was 100. He was either 80 to 1 or 100 to 1. There was a legitimate hedge opportunity if you wanted to take it right there. He went to a playoff. You could have got half your money out if you wanted.
Fine. Still.
The worst beat I took all year, and I think the worst shot of the year. You won with Andrew Landry at like
did.
150 to 1.
So what happened?
I had Trey Mullinix.
Ran Smallnecks, yeah.
Yeah. So on 17, it's a drivable par 4. And Mullinix goes for it and comes up left of the green. So he needs an up and down for birdie in order to basically get into a playoff. What does he do? He chunks it into the bunker from like 20 feet off the green. Just like, oh God. It was a line drive. It was such a line drive that it almost, because I've done this plenty of times playing golf, and there's a big, you know how freaked you get when there's a bunker in between you and the green, and you always just hit into the bunker, or you skull it. And like he hit it such on a line drive into the bunker. I thought it was going to hit the mound of the bunker and come out of it. He hit it so hard. It did not. Then he couldn't get it up and down. He blew it. And then you won. I did not have Landry that week. I had Mullinix. So that was bad. That would be our worst beat of the year, worst shot of the year.
Can my worst shot of the year come on a Saturday?
Yeah, it can be whenever you want it to be.
It was Saturday at the Masters. It was a par 5. And Ricky was in a bad spot. And he put it in. He shouldn't have gone for it. And he put it in Rays Creek. And what I would have given a nut for to have that shot back. I guess. That's all. That's one that like really sticks in my crawl.
One of the ones
a lot.
I like vividly stands out to me, and it's just the pressure got to the poor guy. But when CT Pan was chasing down Snedeker at the Wyndham and then put it OB off the tee on, it was either 17 or 18 on Sunday. I felt bad for CT Pan. Not that I had like any, I don't even think I had financial interest in CT Pan. I was just rooting for CT Pan. And I like Brandt Snedeker. That was when we talk about best rounds, he's on the list from the Wyndham. Yeah. Opening
What
59.
about Reed's lag at Valspar? On 18.
That was bad. When it came back down the hill, that wasn't good.
Because like he would have beaten Casey. Casey's round was amazing that day, but he'd have beaten.
That's on the list of best rounds. Underrated, one of the best rounds of the year.
He would have. I mean, Reed versus Casey in a playoff. Come on, we two-putted. We needed a 2-putt for a playoff, right?
Yeah. And it was
I
just
don't
like,
know. I kind of just feel like we're lamenting. Let's get to good stuff.
All right, so best of the year. Let's start with best shot of the year. I threw this out to Twitter. There was a lot of shots, a lot of like Tiger stuff. I'd say Tiger's best shot of the year. I forget what hole it was at the PGA Championship.
Was it in a bunker?
Yeah, when he stuck it to like 3 feet.
Oh no. Oh, okay, no. I'm talking about
when he was making the charge back. It may have been on 15 or 16 at the PGA Championship. I think that was his best shot. But people are like, even when I talked about best round, they were like, oh, the best round was Tiger at Eastlake. No, it wasn't. Come on.
Tiger in a bunker that weekend was just insane. And I'll be honest, my favorite shot of the year, because I know you kind of put it out there, I don't even remember it exactly, but it was just any early season shot of Tiger from thick rough and how viciously he would attack it and have no sort of qualms.
Okay, so here are a few of the best shot candidates that I have. I think the DJ at Tournament of Champions is the best shot of the year. You disagree, but he almost aced the par 4, and everyone had a chance to go at that par 4, and he put it to like a foot. It was awesome.
To me, okay, I would just say his playoff victory versus Spieth at Northern Trust 2 years ago, that like dominant
that drive was awesome. That's what we named shot of the year last year.
Into that wedge, into that chip, to me is significantly more showing off the skill than like the lucky side roll of that drive.
Okay,
in my opinion.
Number 2, Justin Thomas walk-off eagle on 18 to force the playoff with Phil at WGC Mexico. That was incredible. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And then the cameraman almost like fell into JT's ball in the playoff. Phil ended up winning. That was an awesome shot. JT at the Honda. You were there.
This is I don't want to spoil it, but it was probably my favorite tournament of the year because I was there on Sunday and I had money on like a lot of guys in the mix, but not JT.
Yeah, I had money on Noren, List, and Fleetwood.
Me too.
And they all lost to JT.
Just in the playoff. No, I didn't have List actually.
But on 18, JT hit like a horrible tee shot, and then he laid up on the par 5, and then he stuck it to like 2 feet on the approach to force the playoff with List. That was a nice shot. Tiger,
he hit the rocks.
He hit the rocks and landed on the green. Yeah, I wouldn't call that the best shot.
I was in the Puma tent. I thought he was in the water.
I would say luckiest shot of the year was Jason Day on his 16 or 17 at Wells Fargo.
What, an up and down?
No,
or something?
when he hit a line drive off the tee and it hit the pin and stuck on, and it was gonna go 20 feet into the thick rough, and no one was getting it up and down from the back. I mean, Jason Day has an incredible short game. Maybe he could have, but him hitting the pin really saved his ass. Yeah, Tiger 15 on PGA. Brooks bogey at 11 at the U.S. Open. I watched it again last night, and it's stupid. And it ended up costing me a ton of money.
Yeah, I was going to say this is probably the moment.
When you knew he was going to win?
No, him hitting this putt and Tommy missing the one on 18 is one of the most significant moments for me of the golf year. Also find it probably because it really,
It worked out because I ended up placing a live
each ways or whatever?
I played a live wager on Tommy, a top 3 each way the night before at 500 to 1. So it paid out 100 to 1 that he came inside the top 3, but the 500 to 1 would have been nice. But Brooks was just incredible. And that
insane.
That was the epitome of what Brooks did at the US Open. Just a horrible shot on the par 3, and he was like right up against the fescue in the short, put it over the green into the bunker, and decided to take his medicine out of the bunker.
It was like, 35 feet maybe?
I think it was like 20 feet, but he was just like, I'm not going to go for the pin. I'm not going to try to put it close because it might roll off the green, which everyone was doing. I'm going to eat my medicine, try to make my putt, and boom, he makes the putt.
That for me is the shot of the year.
How about DJ walk-off hole out at St. Jude to win the tournament? That was pretty awesome. Finau ace in the practice round of the Masters, and then he broke his ankle celebrating it. Poulter putt on 18 at the Shell Houston Open to force the playoff with beautiful Bo Hostler. Then he won in the playoff to get himself into the Masters. That was nice. You got nothing on that?
No, that was a hype moment.
Russell Knox putt at the Irish Open.
That was killer. I
beat
think he
Ryan
did it
Fox.
twice.
He made
twice.
That's what I got for
Killer.
best shots. Like ones that really stand out in my mind. Are there any more that you can think of?
There were a couple from the Masters where the guys missed a putt on Sunday. Spieth and Rory. Rory, I think on 13. Spieth almost. Rory almost made an albatross to start the day, and then he missed the.
Then he went away.
Like the 5-foot eagle or the 6-foot eagle putt, and then Spieth, I want to say on 13, and then he missed an eagle putt, but maybe I could be wrong.
Okay. So let's go to best round of the year. Now, we can break this down if it's a player's round that was the best, or just round you enjoyed the most watching. Maybe we can break it up into 2 ways. But here are some of my candidates for best round of the year. And it's not just, hey, he shot a 59, he wins best round of the year. Although Snedeker is on here. He shot in 59 at the Wyndham. How about Brandon Stone? 60 at the Scottish Open to win on Sunday. That was pretty impressive.
Amazing.
He was 500 to 1 to win that tournament. Not that I had him, but.
Wow.
Actual best round. I think Fleetwood at the U.S. Open Sunday is the best round of the year.
Oh, that's the one I starred. Best round of the
Although
year.
people are sleeping on Rory Sunday at Bay Hill when he went bananas.
That might have statistically the best putting round.
I think he gained 9 strokes putting that day. He hit every. I don't know if he hit every green right.
Who did he steal that from? Stenson?
Bryson made the charge along Bryson.
Stenson, I think, was there too.
Tiger was in the mix till he put an OB on 14. That was actually a super fun round. I was in Mexico watching that one. I took some time out of my vacation to sit down and watch that because it had just a ton of big names. And Rory that's when everyone buried Rory for dead. Like, oh, Rory can't do anything. He shoots 62 and ends up winning the tournament. Spieth Sunday at the Masters was incredible. Like you said, he misses an eagle putt. He missed that putt on 18. He was right there. Like Ricky was closer to Reed. Like did they play together? Or did Rory play with Reed?
Ricky and Reed played together.
Ricky and Reed played together. So did they?
No, Ricky was out before.
He was in the group before. I think he was with Dustin. Or maybe Finau. I can't remember. But Spieth made the charge on Sunday. He almost got there. I was able to cash out my money at 3-1 on Spieth. He was so close to winning. That was kind of crazy. How about Webb Simpson? First or second round of the Players.
That would probably be another one of my top candidates.
Francesco Molinari, 62 Sunday at Quicken Loans to blow out the field.
Felt like that whole week he just blew out the field.
He wasn't. It was like tight. He was up by a few going into Sunday, and then he just cracked the field. Bubba at match play or Bubba 63 at the Travelers on Sunday.
Like them both. Travelers, I guess, is kind of He sort of just stormed the field. It was like 5 back, right?
And Casey came back to the pack. Casey at Valspar, 65 on Sunday. He passed Tiger, he passed Snedeker, he passed Reed. Corey Connors was in the mix that week, and there was someone else up there as well that he ended up coming back, and Sergio was the one. And people were like, Casey can never win a tournament, da-da-da-da-da, and then boom, Casey's in the winner's circle. It was a big year for guys who couldn't win.
Well, a lot of that.
We had Webb, Casey, Woodland,
Phil,
Keegan, Charles Howell III. Kuchar won for the first time since 2014. Lee Westwood won. Poulter won. Big year for that.
We're probably even forgetting a couple because it was like raining guys like that.
Yeah, there was, and then it was concentrated on a lot of guys who won multiple tournaments. What are some other ones I got here? Michael Kim at the John Deere Classic. Maybe the most dominant. Webb has probably had the most dominant performance of the year at the Players based on the strength of the field. But I think the best compilation of 4 rounds was Michael Kim at the John Deere Classic. He's like not a good player, and he played the best of anyone all year. That was kind of nuts. Poulter Sunday in Houston, which was a really good one for me because, was it the Masters or can't remember if it was the Masters or it was Houston. Whatever tournament it was, there was a rain delay at one of the tournaments, and I was at a wedding, and I had a friend who was live.
I don't think it was the Masters.
It might have been Houston then. They were showing like previous year's round from something else. And I was betting with the guy I was in the wedding party with, who's a moron, and didn't realize it was on delay that it happened a year before and just took him to the cleaners.
There you go.
I had to give his money back. Woodland, 64 in Phoenix.
Yeah, he took down Shez in a playoff.
Yeah, East at 64 on Sunday. That back 9 was just crazy. Ted Potter Jr., 62 Saturday at Monterey Point to get himself into that grouping with, I guess Wayne wasn't in it, but DJ was in it. Breaking your heart. Rose and Molinari, Saturday at the British Open. Rose made the cut by a stroke, and Molinari made it by 2 strokes, and they stormed the leaderboard. And then Molinari was able to keep it going on Sunday. That was pretty impressive. Snedeker, Kadira, 66, Sunday at the Heritage. When everyone else was like over par. He got it a bit earlier, got some better conditions, and went out and stormed. That was pretty awesome. You got any other additional rounds here? I feel like it's just me talking.
I don't know. All these like individual rounds just seem like a blur.
Do you remember any round in particular that you just enjoyed watching? Was it Sunday at the Masters?
Ricky and Reed, like for me, was awesome, and then Nemesis Jordan, like coming back and playing amazing, me like worried Jordan's gonna like take it from either of these guys I like a lot.
I didn't include the Finau and Berger rounds at the U.S. Open because they're like the first group out and posted a number, and everyone else was horrible. Sunday at the Open Championship was just amazing to watch. People say that a lot of people commented. Maybe we'll talk about this then. Best tournament of the year.
Yeah. Okay. Now you don't have to talk to yourself anymore because the rounds are just, I don't know. The individual rounds are a blur.
So best tournament of the year. A lot of people voted PGA Championship, but I have a feeling that's only because Tiger was in it.
I think it was the Open.
You think it was
Tiger
the Open?
Also was in, and I thought for a period, even though the very end, it ended up being Molinari, like when he got to the last couple holes, kind of felt like he had it. But there was an extensive period on that back 9 where we're gonna have like a 4-man playoff with superstars, with Rose and Molinari,
Woods,
Xander. Like I was,
Kisner was in the mix.
So yeah,
Kevin Chappell was somehow there.
Of the majors, that one kind of might outdo the PGA to me, because Tiger was like tied for the lead. Maybe I could be wrong.
But Brooks had those par 5s.
Yes. That's what I was going to say. I don't know exactly what it was, but there was never a moment where it felt like he was like kind of really in control. His game was in control.
Well, it wasn't. He didn't hit a fairway on the front nine.
But I just mean like, Brooks had all these birdie holes that, I don't know. I still felt that it was never like even an even money thing.
Yeah,
it was always like Brooks having those birdie holes still to play.
So, of the majors, would you say the PGA Championship, the Open, or the Masters was the best? Because the U.S. Open wasn't.
Honestly,
you know what I left out of best shot of the year? When Phil tapped his ball back up the hill at the U.S. Open. My favorite moment of the year.
That might have been best shot of the year.
That's when I flipped on Phil. I became a Phil fan after that. Thought it was funny.
For me, it was the Open, but I loved the Masters. And I know I'm like a fan and it's just so hard, but I'm telling you, like 77% of the time, Ricky Fowler Sunday wins him the Masters. The guy at the top comes back. Reed didn't budge for a second. You are wearing the shirt I'm pretty sure he was wearing.
It is exactly the same shirt.
That day.
Ladies hot pink, worn by a Masters
and he
champion.
he had a great he had a lucky shot that hit a flag stick that could have been in big trouble. I'm just remembering.
He was getting everything up and down.
Every drive was just like low and slicing perfectly, and he had that like funny like twirl at the end of his drive. He was just so on point. He's going to win the tour tournament of champions.
Who?
Because he's going.
Reed.
Yeah,
I thought you meant Ricky. Ricky's probably not going to win the tournament ever again.
Reed is going to win the tournament of champions.
I think Bryson's going to win the tournament of champions.
Last year when we did this, I probably predicted Reed to win player of the year, Ricky to win player of the year.
You did.
I also predicted Jordan wasn't going to win a tournament.
I mean, Jordan had just as good of a chance of winning the Masters as Ricky did.
They weren't tied.
They ended up T2. Or did Spieth finish
No,
shot back of...
Shot back. It was not going to be a three-man playoff.
That's right. But
it
then
wasn't.
Ricky missed his putt.
And this year's going to be, I mean, I guess I don't want to move on, but this year's going to be magical just with Reed putting the jacket on
someone, yeah.
Buddy.
So the other tournaments, so non-majors. So if we rank the majors from last year, the Open, the Masters, PGA, and then the U.S. Open. They were all pretty good, though. There was something fun about the U.S. Open that it was just so hard. But then it got unfair at a point. That, like, remember Fleetwood shot, like, 8 over on Saturday? And Casey shot 8 over? Like, everyone was kind of in it, then everyone came back. Sunday at the U.S. Open was good. But I didn't like the tournament, to be perfectly honest with you. The greens were unfair.
Yeah, no, I'm not doubting that, but I just love the majors, all of them.
And the players was uncompetitive because Webb ran away with it. And Tiger put the ball in the water on 17 when he was having a nice tournament.
Okay.
So the best of the rest. Bay Hill was fun because Bay Hill had everyone there and they were all in contention. Rory ended up winning. Bryson ended up coming second. Tiger, Stenson, Rose, they're all in the mix. I like that. I personally like the Heritage because it's my favorite tournament every year. And that was the Kadira win in the playoff over Siwoo and Luke List and Bryson. It could be a better leaderboard for like my interests.
Yeah.
Riviera when Bubba won.
This was a heartbreaker because I actually had Finau and Cantlay. And Bubba was trailing both of them.
And came back on Sunday. And the year of Bubba kicked off. But that was a really fun tournament to watch.
Yeah, it was the one Bubba was like doing Ellen and Jay Leno in the NBA All-Star game.
We were gonna bet him before
the
you
were.
I was gonna bet him, and I got talked out of it because it's like, oh yeah, he's gonna race to go play in the NBA All-Star game.
Because he said if there's like delays or anything, he will like withdraw himself because of his commitments.
And then he didn't and won. What else do I have here? Pebble was good this year.
What was it?
I had money on Ted Potter, so it was good.
I thought the Honda was great.
Honda was good.
I'm just saying that maybe because I was there, but it was good.
I thought that...
Because it was really like one of the first times... It was the week before. It was like where Tiger like kind of felt like...
Well, that's why I threw Valspar on here.
But that was the week after, wasn't it?
Yeah, but Valspar was the first time Tiger was like in it on Sunday. He wasn't really in it on Sunday.
No, but he was like statistically awesome at Honda.
He was, but he wasn't in contention to win.
No, never.
On Sunday at Honda.
No,
he was in contention to win Sunday at Valspar. And remember, he added it to the schedule.
And it was...
He had played, and he was just like, what the hell was he doing playing Valspar? I feel bad for the Valspar this year.
I just want to say something. Both of us, because there's a lot of people now like turncoated.
On who?
We were always prepared for the good.
Yeah, we needed it.
We were always prepared for the good. A lot of people are like faking, like they were like that they didn't doubt it, but they doubted it. Because they tweeted us that they doubted it.
Yeah, of course. You got to be in on Tiger. It's good for everyone when Tiger is good. It's good for the players. It's good for Tiger. It's good for the show. It's good for engagement. It's good for golf when Tiger is good.
And I'm off the beaten path. But like when Zach Johnson wins the British Open, and even something as cheesy as Davis Love winning the Wyndham, that was always to me like there's no way Tiger's not going to win again. And now we're talking about legitimate majors as we go forward. Unbettable numbers.
Any like random loser tournament that you liked? You must have liked Valero when. Andrew
Yeah,
Lane.
that was awesome. I mean, selfishly, sure, I could name a bunch. Can I give my dickless moment of the year?
Yeah, let's hear it.
JB Holmes taking his sweet ass time, which screwed the Norin bets at Torrey. Then we had to go to the next morning in the dew.
Oh yeah, that's when I was at Super Bowl that week. I was in the airport watching that Sunday breakdown.
Well, that's the week after Super Bowl.
No, that was the week before. That's the week before Super Bowl.
Oh, the week before Phoenix. Yeah,
I was
you're right.
traveling to Minnesota to do the shows from
Yeah.
there. I did the show with Cuss for Waste Management.
Yeah, so that really still pisses me off.
I'm trying to think for me, who really let me down this year?
Oh, let me down. Oh, Siwoo, but you want all that money.
And I cash out.
Ricky let me down.
Yeah,
Ricky Saturdays.
Ricky Saturdays are a thing. Finau let everyone down, unless you just bet him top 10 every week. The amount of money. I mean, Luke List technically let me
Yeah.
down, but I won money on Luke List this year.
There'll be more like extensive banter on these names on our. On
Yeah, we're doing
yeah.
our 10 favorite
I
players.
don't think I'm gonna let like Ricky and Finau's names like just come by without. Yeah,
You have a best bet of the year? Was it Landry?
yeah, I guess it had to be.
I think mine was-
in terms of money,
was
but I could
Bryson-
probably
Bryson at the
rethink
Northern
it.
Trust.
No, my best bet of the year
Or
because it
Kuchar
was
at
like
Swing.
extremely hyper confident bet. Even like I did some of those
Dustin
articles
Canadian Open?
Oh, that one too, but Molinari at Quicken.
That's right, yeah.
Because he was here and this was like just as he had won
Wentworth.
and there was other big events going on over there, and he was here because he was like about the PGA Tour and about FedEx Cup points. Next thing we know, he's like the greatest thing ever, the summer of Mollywood. But yeah, no, that was like probably my most adamant like flag in the ground. He's gonna win and won, but I don't know, the payout wasn't.
I think it was like 20 or 16 or something like that. Oh, you know what was probably my like best like confidence call of the year was Bubba at match play. I was adamant he was going to win the match play. I was big on that. But then Bryson just kept winning money for us all year because Bryson's the best. Now people hate him because he putts with the pin in.
No, but I guess bad. Like even like picking I think like 3 guys to win the Tour Championship and being on Tiger. And like being at my Jewish holiday dinner is like slamming the table. Tiger's winning this week. And then he wins.
Kuchar was good for me in the swing. Maybe the Ryder Cup. Calling the Ryder Cup how we did was probably the best one.
Yeah, we both called Europe to win, but I would say your analysis, I was just going on how they're a team and it's just like this thing and you never can doubt these guys. But your analysis of how the tournament would unfold was insanely spot on.
And then Molinari won top Euro too, which was great.
I mean, not like no one sort of knew, this Reed stuff or whatever.
The whole
but
point was
just like Bjorn was going to bury Furyk.
Yeah.
Like
Furyk
that was your
going to be
main
bad.
thing. Furyk is going to cost them at least a session, and it might have been afternoon day one because US got off to a nice little morning on day one.
Yeah, here's a smart move. Let's put Phil and Bubba out an alternate shot. Yeah, that's real sensible.
So that sticks with me. That because a lot of times even the joke about football, like you'll give a super lock, that game will win. You thought that team was going to run for 150
And
yards.
then they don't.
They
It just
passed for 350. They ran for 40. You still win your bet. Like the reason you won your bet never happened. But no, with that right, yeah, you hammered that in terms of exactly how this thing was going to play out.
Scheduling changes for 2019. Listen to this. With everything mixed up, because the Players has moved to March, the PGA Championship has moved to May. So we get this nice run, and the FedEx Cup playoffs don't now start in August. It's only 3 events and end before football starts, which is genius. I'm shocked it took them 15 years to figure this out. But now it means something, right? Now people will actually care. Maybe they won't care about the FedEx Cup, but East Lake at the end of August, I think, is going to draw some more viewers.
But now it's the new East Lake rules.
Sure, but it's still not up against football. That's big. Like, how many people are tuning out of the early slate on football week 4 to watch the FedEx Cup finals? No one. Even I have to get like an extra TV brought in just so I can have it on a side
Well, it was a
screen.
Tiger Sunday, so this year was like kind of different. People probably would have sacrificed it, but like if it's Alex Noren versus Jason Day, no one would give a shit.
Exactly. And now they might just tune in because it's the finals and someone wins $15 million now. But because of all the scheduling changes, we go Tournament of Champions, Sony, in the Hawaii Swing, and then Career Builder in La Quinta. Then we go from the end of January through the Masters. Torrey Pines, Phoenix, Pebble Beach, Riviera, WGC Mexico,
What a stretch. Love this stretch.
Honda, Bay Hill, the Players, Valspar, Match Play, Valero, the Masters.
No weeks off.
Valero and Valspar are the weeks off. And people will skip Honda.
I love, like, okay.
Will people skip the WGC in Mexico?
No. Like 3 guys, but like, what do you mean? Like a mass exodus?
But no one's playing every week. And like, these are tournament, and people are going to play Pebble because that's where the U.S. Open is.
Okay.
Like, all the people that don't normally play Pebble are going to play Pebble, I think, at least. You think they would want to get in there?
I mean, you just run that off to me. Hawaii just warms the soul, especially like for it starts the season.
Yeah, we can bet Sam Ryder at the Sony Open.
We're in a blizzard, and all like,
Nighttime golf.
Like, what's Luke List at the Sony? Like 30-1, right?
Maybe. I hope we can get him at 30-1. How glorious would that be?
He might have been my one and done there last year. He missed the cut.
Yeah, he wasn't good last year at that point. He flipped it. He went like miscut. Then he went fire for like 6 months.
And then I just love that stretch of NFC Championship, AFC Championship, Torrey Pines, and then Super Bowl Phoenix into Pebble. And then we go to Florida.
Then we get Riviera. Then a WGC. Then we're in Florida.
Oh, I can't. Like, I'm revving up.
What do you make of the Players in March?
I have no idea. I'm taking this. I'm not criticizing. I need to like experience it. It doesn't feel natural, but I'm going to let it all just sort of come to me.
I like it. I like separating it from the majors.
Sure. Because
it feels lesser than, especially because it is lesser than, but it feels more lesser than when it's sandwiched in between the Masters and the U.S. Open. Because it's just like, oh, it's the Players. I wish it was the U.S. Open. Now we get the PGA Championship in that spot, which means something.
I'm ready for it. Listen,
and I think the Players are going to be harder.
What happened last year and recently, and I don't know what's going to happen again because another Olympics has to be coming up.
Oh, yeah.
And what they would be planning on. And it's far away, I think.
The Olympics?
It's like in Korea.
Yeah. Siwoo time. He needs to win so he can not have to go to the Army.
What I wanted to say was, like, last year was a disaster with the like, everything was piggybacking each other. Mm-hmm. You like the WGCs, it was like the British Open into Canada, into WGCs, into the PGA.
Yeah,
it just
was
felt
bad.
So ridiculous. It was like the last week at Firestone was like the week before the PGA or something. It just felt all out of whack. So I'm happy they're making an effort to do something better. And you're right. The lesser than the fifth wheel should go lead us off.
So some other weird scheduling things, or new scheduling things, not really weird. I actually like how they've laid this out. The Colonial is now called the Charles Schwab Challenge. Still at Colonial. That's May 23rd. The Canadian Open is now the week before the U.S. Open on June 6th. Good move for the Canadian Open. This is huge.
Long-term huge. This year could have a negative because it's a West Coast. And now they need to, Canada needs to
coordinate.
Map the U.S. Open. If the U.S. Open is in like Minnesota, let's maybe go into the Albertas or just, somewhere
else.
I won't, if the U.S. Open's in the Northeast, let's come back to the Toronto, Quebec. So yeah, this with the scheduling change, they kind of got caught off guard.
They did. It should be the Canadian Open should be at Shaughnessy this year.
Yeah,
because Shaughnessy plays like a U.S. Open anyway. It would be a good tune-up for the U.S. Open.
But going forward, they can. The plan would be to geographically locate the Canadian Open
to make it easy.
Somewhere
like this year when everyone played the Travelers because the U.S. Open was in the Northeast, that they could just go to Hartford.
They all just went there. Because wherever the U.S. Open was, they were staying in like trailer parks. They all just like drove there.
Yeah, it was in the Hamptons, and then they had to go to Connecticut. Yeah. Not that far of a trip.
No, and they were all like rented these like huge like band RV trailers because you didn't want to deal with the traffic.
Except for Tiger, who took his yacht.
And his boat, yeah.
So that's the week before the U.S. Open. Memphis is now a WGC event.
Daniel Berger can win a WGC?
Yeah. And it is the week after the British Open. That's weird.
See, I just talked about how we were getting rid of piggyback in this stuff.
I believe that's how, because it's what do I have written down? July 25th. I believe that's the
I
week.
just brought up the whole schedule.
I believe that's the week after the British Open.
Oh, man.
And it's a WGC Bridgestone was replaced by Memphis, which was the St. Jude.
Where do you want me looking?
Let's see. Yeah, it is. So
Yeah, it is.
July 18th, the Open Championship in Northern Ireland. The next week, the World Golf Championship FedEx Cup. St. Jude Invitational. That's not good. Are people going to skip that WGC? That seems like the law. That in Mexico, like they're really kind of threw the WGCs under the bus here. Like Mexico gets screwed because it's in between like legit historic tournaments, and this one gets screwed because it's in the new Canadian Open spot. But I guess if people came to the Canadian Open anyway, I guess they would go to a WGC.
We're going back to Detroit.
Yes, I have that on the list too. Quicken Loans is now called the Rocket Mortgage Open, and it's in Detroit on June 27th. The 3M Open, which I think replaced Houston because Houston's not on the schedule anymore. 3M Open in Minnesota is July 4th. That's the week after the Rocket Mortgage. The playoffs now start August 9th, and it'll be the Northern Trust, which is going to be played at Liberty National, the BMW, which is going to be played at Medina, and then the Tour Championship is at the end of
This
August
is great.
in Eastlake. That's good.
That might be the best thing they did. And what are the numbers? What's the number drop on FedEx Cup now? Like we're going like one. They're going to cut it in half to BMW.
I don't know what the new rules are. I know about
Like
the
120 to like 70.
probably, and they'll now because it's still going to be 30 for Eastlake because they have that stupid scoring system that's in now. Do you like that? I don't. I want to see it happen just because I have no idea. It just seems like if you're in first, you're going to win.
No, because you're only up like 2 strokes on the guy in second.
Oh, okay, but if you're in like last, you have no chance.
Yeah, you're up like 11 on the guy in last, but you're only up like the guys in second, third, fourth, and fifth are a couple birdies away from being right at you.
So if you win Eastlake, do you win the FedEx Cup then?
Yes.
Like it doesn't
Yeah.
matter what the points are if you just
There's
win
no
that.
yeah.
Okay, I like that part of it.
Here's the thing. By Sunday, there's probably a good chance it just looks like a normal leaderboard.
Unless the guy in first place just runs away with it.
It'll be interesting to see how the betting works.
Yeah.
Because that'll be heavily weighted, and you'll be like, I'll take my boy 7 back. Like 60-1, I'll take him.
You get some big odds. It'll actually turn out to be probably a horrible gambling event because Tiger will be like 7 strokes back to begin the tournament. Like, oh, he's 12-1. Because that's what... Having Tiger back has helped out the odds of other guys, though, which is really nice.
Listen, we're going to talk about that
right now? You want to get into it?
Sure. And I don't mean if I was a little lacking words in that. It all like kind of blurs together these Sundays.
You're like Celine Dion. It's all coming back to you now.
No, I just mean like, you were going through those individual rounds. I remember the rounds that cost me money or won me money. I'm like that poker player, that
only
golfer.
remembers the
I
bad
remember
beats?
like Although I will always rather hear how you made a great par than like your sick poker hand story.
What are worse stories? Poker hand stories or people telling you about their fantasy team?
Oh, okay. About the fantasy team or like how they lost? Like I need
Either way. Because you don't get it as much as I
hate-
do. But like if people like even like not necessarily friends, but like people I know, and they know that I do this, like they won't even like really say hi. They'll open up their phone and be like, "Here's my team. What moves would you make?" It's like, I don't care, man.
You're you.
Yeah, but that sucks though. It's horrible. Just like to talk to someone or like finish my smoke just in general. I don't need to be bothered by this. I guess it's a good problem to have.
So
Masters, ready?
We're here.
The Masters begins on, what do I have written down here? April 11th this year. Augusta National is the course. The odds to win the Masters this year, Tiger and Spieth are the co-favorites at this moment, 10-1. Dustin, 11-1. Rory.
Those eye rolls were for Jordan. Just
Why?
For the
Why
record.
wouldn't he be 10-1?
Well, it's the only tournament I think he can win.
If you're going to say that like Ricky Fowler can win tournaments and you don't think that Spieth can.
In 2018, I haven't said anything about this coming year yet.
Oh, I guess we'll have to wait till the 10 players because I have Spieth on my list of 10 players.
Yeah,
I'm
because it's
excited about.
exciting to see
I'm
him not
curious.
win again.
I'm curious to see what his season's going to be like.
Very curious.
So
No,
Tiger
sure.
and Spieth are the co-favorites. Dustin's 11, Rory's 12, JT is 12. Brooks, Rose are 14. Ricky is 16. Bryson is 20. So there's a giveaway. If you like the episode and leave your DraftKings handle and your winner of the Masters, I'm going to pick Bryson DeChambeau. You need to make a pick. You don't need to bet it.
Here's
It's like when I pick
of these guys that you've listed.
No, just in general. I mean, Rom's 20-1, Day's 22, Bubba's 25, Reed's 28, Fleetwood's 33, Hideki's 33,
Of the guys listed, yeah,
Molly's 33,
Bryson and
Finau.
Rom. Bryson and Rom.
Really, Rom had that was the guy who was in the mix at the Masters,
And he didn't do anything. He just stagnated. But he's been kind of there a couple Masters. I'll say this. I believe in his greatness. Bryson was funny as
How do you feel about Cameron Champ 40-1 to win the Masters?
You want to go there?
Well, he's on my list of guys to be excited for.
Yeah, of course. There's reasons to be excited, but people telling me that he's like better than Bryson, that he's better than Rom is like infuriated me during the swing season.
He's good. He's really
He's
good.
very special, and he hits it like DJ, and he putts it. He's putting like DJ does now,
Yes.
except it didn't take him like 10 years to learn how to chip and putt like Dustin.
He does seem like he's the new version of Dustin. That's essentially
Well, it just
what he
seems like golf is, I don't know if you want to go here, but like the game seems like it's being taken over by bomb and gouge. Because even these courses that we would say wouldn't suit these guys,
Well, that's
they just go there and I'll bomb and gouge and I'll wedge out from 70. And sometimes I'll have a 30-foot putt and I'll make par. And maybe once in a while I'll make them, but I'm also going to stick it to 4, 5, 7, 8 feet a lot and hit those.
That was also another part of my analysis for the Ryder Cup, that the Americans wouldn't be able to do that at that course, and they couldn't because the rough was too penal.
Sure.
You had to hit fairways.
But it seems like 98% of PGA Tour places
the PGA has set
will
itself- the
allow
PGA has set
them to
itself-
bomb and gouge.
Almost every course now is essentially in a resort course, the way that it's set up.
Yeah.
Like, I wish we would get... So I like Honda. Honda's fun like that. And I'm curious to see when we get to the U.S. Open how they set up Pebble.
Oh, it's going to be we can't just skip over the Masters,
No.
but we'll get there.
So Reed's the defending champ. Finau finished inside the top 5. Cam Smith finished inside the top 5 last year. Luke List did not get an automatic qualification into the Masters. He's going to have to play his way in. I was very disappointed about that. Brennan Grace got himself in. He finished inside the top 50 for the year.
Yeah, a few guys, they just did the cutoff.
Yeah, the end of the year cutoff. Brooks ended up being the #1 player in the world because Rose played Indonesia. If Rose hadn't played Indonesia, he would have retained #1. I don't quite understand how that works, but that's how it works.
I don't even care anymore.
I like that there's like competition for best player in the world, like #1 ranking.
Sure, but I
If you had to power rank right now,
like Justin Rosemead isn't the best player in the world. I don't care.
if you had to give your top 5 power rankings of best players in the world, who would be that list? Not what the official world golf rankings are. Who would be
The best players in the world.
Players in the world.
1 through 5.
Who's the best player in the world right now?
The best player in the world is Brooks Koepka.
It's not Dustin.
He would be my second best player in the
So
world.
Brooks, Dustin.
In terms of okay, I don't know if they're the best or the most talented players in the world.
Because I mean, if we're going to talk
Because
about,
Rory and Tiger to me probably make my list.
but they're
and
not,
Bryson.
I would say Bryson is a top 5 player.
So that's my top 5.
But Rory and Tiger aren't. Not right now.
Okay, but I'm sort of looking at ceiling.
Yeah, but when we do these rankings, you have to consider downside into this too. That's why I wouldn't have Brooks at #1, because Brooks has tournaments where he's bad or just doesn't care. And Dustin doesn't really seem to have those. Dustin has bad tournaments every once in a while, but generally if he's in the mix, he's in the mix.
Brooks, Dustin, Bryson, Rory, Tiger.
I mean,
Who are you? Who do you want in there?
other than those guys,
Justin Rose? Doesn't move my needle.
I mean, Rahm's been better than Rory over the past 2 years.
I
He has
love
been.
John Rahm. And I'll tell you this,
You
my
wouldn't-
flag
you
is
wouldn't
in
put-
the
You wouldn't put Fleetwood in there?
my flag is in the ground those numbers that they want to throw out, if they want to throw out these
Like-
big Rom numbers again at these big tournaments, my flag is in the ground for him.
We're going back to losing money on Rahm again this year.
Yeah, I don't care.
Like Justin Thomas is a top 5 player in the world.
There's so many great players.
But-
I love them all.
But like Justin Thomas has been better than Rose and Rory and Tiger.
Yeah, you're probably right.
He's been awesome. And I don't even particularly like Justin Thomas. I find him real boring. But
Okay,
he's very, very good.
Fine. For me, listen, there's 3 best players in the world are Brooks, Bryson, and Dustin, and I'll stand on that, and you could play with the others. You're probably right. It probably should be Rose and Justin. If we're being like fair.
Did you know that Finau is the 10th ranked player in the world?
Big Ricky?
Big Ricky. And Little Ricky is 9th. Xander is the 11th best player in the world. That is not... See, it's the one thing with like someone like Xander. Like, Xander can't chip. That's a problem. Like, Molinari can't putt. That's a problem. And that's going to end up... It caught up to him towards the end of the year. He had his hot streak. Like, is he ever going to putt that well again? That he did during that 6-week stretch?
Probably not.
Probably not.
But
Like, he hit the window he needed to hit when he was putting well. The rest of his game stayed where it was.
that's fine. But he's also so prolific with his irons that when he's on, he hits it to 8 feet all week, and he needs a couple 25-footers to roll. He doesn't... Listen, he went like nuts at some tournaments like Quicken. He doesn't need to be number 1 in the field in putting to win. He's one of those guys that if he's average putting with how much he stays out of trouble and how prolific his irons are, you know, it's what he needs to do. But I will stand on the hill of Brooks, Bryson, and DJ being the 3 best players in the world.
Okay. Who's going to be your Masters pick here? You're going to say Rahm?
Rahm and Bryson,
Bryce?
I like a lot.
I feel like Bryson's... I really wish I had hit those Bryson number early.
Well, you know what?
Now it's 20. The thing is, he's going to have the Patrick Reed syndrome where people don't like him, so his numbers are always going to be a bit depressed.
Yeah, and it's also going to, you know, listen, there'll be a flavor of the month coming into the Masters, and things will fluctuate. And if Bryson wins again he'll go, you know, he could be 12-1. I missed the early Bryson numbers because I'm stubborn. Why am I stubborn? Because I sat here with you and guaranteed Bryson was going to win the 2020 Masters. So when all, you know, like his calculator, well, like the science, he needs one more prep test, you know, for like with everything. And Tiger's befriended him and they do these rounds. It's going to be one more go round and then he's going to crush it. So when all this hype was like, no, you got to bet him for next year. It's like, no, my prediction is 2020. I'm not betting him to win 2019. And then the number just continued to drop away. But there's no doubt he wins a Masters in his career because he's going to his science will perfect it, and the compass can come out in practice.
Ah, that's true. They should allow him to use the compass.
Whatever he uses in practice, he could use it.
What's the one thing you look forward to about the Masters? Like when it's gone and then like you start thinking about the Masters again, what's the one thing that's like, oh yeah, I like the coverage of the Masters. The new online coverage of the Masters where we can basically see whatever
really
we want.
lucky in Canada.
You can get that on masters.org.
No, but we're lucky in Canada that everything that they have to like jump through hoops for, we get on basic cable because of
Our
the Canadian
package,
agreement. Yeah, listen, sometimes that agreement completely backfires. It also doesn't backfire sometimes, Pat, on Sundays when the college basketball, or Saturdays when the college basketball goes on overrun, on the global channel, they're showing golf, and you almost hear Nance and the guys like doing like prep, like you're almost behind the curtain, like you're almost like hearing things, like we're getting a feed we shouldn't even be having. Sometimes Johnny Miller's gone.
Forgot about that. I don't know how I feel about that. As much as I hate Johnny Miller, I like to listen to him to make me mad.
Yeah.
Who's going to replace him? Do we know? I feel like Nota Begay is really angling for it.
Do you know who is outstanding, but he's actually like golfing a bit again to me, is Immelman.
Immelman's really good.
Outstanding.
Who do you think is going to be the next guy to go into the booth? Like, I don't like Duval as like an analyst. I find him boring.
But do they get Duval in for bit? Like, is he?
No, they have him on like the panel. I like Darren Clark. I think Poulter will be awesome
if he wants to do it.
But he still has years left. But I think he would want to do it. Like, how long did Faldo play on the seniors tour before he just went to the booth?
I don't know.
I don't think it was that long. if he did at all.
Well, Faldo's one of those like enigmas. I mean, I was much younger. I don't remember him as the player, but the thing was like he was this guy that was so anti-media, hated media, curmudgeon, and then he sort of became this great, really good at it. Like he's a personality that no one saw out of him when he was a player. So I don't know. Maybe sometimes these sourpusses like Azinger gets in there, and he's like,
Azinger's okay.
no, but I mean like Faldo and Azinger and
Would Tiger ever do it?
no.
It'd be a good move on his part once he was done.
Do you remember when he was like out a bit, but he'd show up at like his events? He was like mad. He's mad. He's like when he talks, it's like Philip Rivers to me. Like I'm just listening. I take in every word. I always try to find his post-round interviews, both like radio feed and TV, because they're different ones, and sometimes the Sky Sports ones.
I think Poulter would be good. Rich Beam's good on the Sky Sports.
Leonard's been okay, but he's too like good guy culture.
I don't want a good guy in the booth.
Yeah, he's good guy culture.
Like they'll probably, you know who it's gonna be? It's like Kuchar. Kuchar will end up in the booth, and he'll be super positive about everything.
Okay, Matt Kuchar.
Masters 50-1.
Oh, it's not enough.
I know. The thing is, if he sucks and the number gets worse, then you feel horrible about it anyway.
I took maybe a year off of Matt at the Masters, but I'll be back there this year. And I'm not kidding. I don't know what the number is, but
I got some Matt Kuchar money.
Cantley could be sneaky.
We're going to get to this now. Is he on this list?
What list?
The list of the worst putters on tour.
Oh, most annoying? Sure.
No, he's not on it. He didn't make the bottom 15 of everyone on tour, but he's close to it. He's missed 2 cuts since the beginning of 2017.
He's on my list for our show.
No, he's not for me. I find him he's the most insufferable player to watch on tour. He's worse than Kevin Na.
But he's a
I'll
get to it.
Like if he's in contention, like he's unwatchable. It's like having Keegan Bradley in the final round or JB Holmes.
He's just part of a group of players that I feel are like forgotten because there's these new
hot things.
Yeah.
We'll do the PGA Championship. The PGA Championship is at Bethpage Black this year. I believe it's going to play as a par 70. Maybe it will be a par 71. That's what it was when it played as the Barclays. The last 4 tournaments we've seen at Bethpage Black. 2016, Patrick Reed won the first leg of the FedEx Cup playoffs at -9. Griot and O'Hare were second. Scott, Day, and Woodland were fourth. And your man, Little Ricky, was seventh. The 2012 Barclays, and it was on bentgrass and has switched over to POA since. We have 2 majors on POA this year, which is kind of strange. Nick Watney won at -10. Snedeker was second. DJ and Sergio were third. Westwood, Harmon, and Louis were tied for fifth. 2009 U.S. Open, the Glove. Lucas Glover won at 4 under. Phil was second. Ross Fisher was fifth. Tiger and Mahan were eighth. Stenson was ninth. Rory and Sergio were 10th. 2002, 2 times ago for the U.S. Open, Tiger won at 3 under. Phil was second. Sergio was fourth. Patty was eighth. It's going to be hard.
Gary Woodland.
Woodland's odds for the PGA Championship.
Patrick Reed.
I saw Kenny Kim talk. Gary Woodland's 60-1 to win the PGA Championship.
What's Patrick Reed?
Patrick Reed is 33-1.
Those are the 2 picks I'd make right now.
Dustin is the betting favorite at 9. Tiger's 10. Rory's 12. So is JT. Brooks is 14-1. Spieth 16. Day 18. Ricky, Rahm, Rose are all 20-1. Bryson's 28-1. Tommy and Molinari 30. And then you got Reed and Finau 33 and 35-1. What do you make of Hideki?
You want a teaser?
He's on my list of guys to talk about on the list. He didn't make my top 10, but
he's I'm excited for him because he's a forgotten soul to me that once these big events happen and you put all these big numbers up, I'm saying this right now. I'm going to bet him a lot because I'm going to take my chance at
40-1 right now. He has the same odds as Cameron Champ to win the PGA Championship.
Because this is a good example of it, but I hope the early season events that are strong fields have those sort of same numbers, that he is just this forgotten elite player and there's so many of them. And I think he's going to be a good betting opportunity for us. My fear is, I wouldn't be shocked if they price him down quickly, but I'm looking forward to betting him early in the year.
Trying to think of the other players. This feels like a Leishman type track, I think. Like just the names that I kind of listed off, like even like the Reed, Griot, O'Hare, none of those guys are big hitters. Kyle Stanley, Paul Casey.
You gotta be a big hitter?
I don't think so to win at Bethpage.
So about Norin?
We may have missed the Norin run. Like he had his,
Thanks, JB Holmes.
he had his run. He had his like 18th month stretch, and he was awesome. And it seems like he's back to being not like what Norin used to be, but somewhere in between now. It could be a good Fleetwood track. U.S. Open. The U.S. Open is at Pebble Beach. Kind of wish they'd just hold it at Pebble Beach every year. It's so just to see it on TV is so nice. And how much different do you think it's going to look? I guess is the question. The last time the U.S. Open was at Pebble Beach, Graham McDowell won in 2010. Tiger won by like 1 million strokes in 2000. First bet I ever won against Tim Andercuss, Graham McDowell winning the U.S. Open.
This is going to be quite a treat because that place, that time of year is going to be a beast. If you are not an immaculate win player, I think you're screwed.
I just wonder, do you think it's to a player's benefit to go play Pebble in February or to skip it and not get any of that stuff in your head because it's not going to be the same.
I think they're going to play it because it's a premier event, but
a lot of people skip. Like, do you think Tiger's going to play Pebble and be paired up with some goon?
I think, yeah, man, a goon. Tiger, like the president of Bridgestone. He doesn't go out there with a goon.
That is a goon.
It's like a buddy. No, it's not.
I think there's a reason that Tiger doesn't play in this tournament. He doesn't want any of that shit.
Okay, I'm just saying that I think these guys are all smart enough to know Pebble Beach, AT&T Classic, whatever they call that thing, is a hit and giggle. But they're smart enough to know that it will not have a bearing on...
It seems like a good one to skip if you're not going to do the prep and as a part of that stretch that we talked about. Because it seems like people are like jazzed for Phoenix. Like Phoenix is getting people this year. Why wouldn't you? It's the premier event. Like I would play Phoenix before I played Torrey. For sure. Yeah. I play it before I played Pebble. It's fun.
Yeah.
I think it maybe gravitates towards like the younger player. So Dustin, Tiger,
They probably have a wicked Super Bowl party too.
Tiger and Dustin are co-favorites at Pebble for the U.S. Open. Spieth and Brooks are second at 14-1. Rory, Thomas, 16. Day, Rose, 18. 22 for Fowler, 25 for Rahm, 33 for Fleetwood, 33 for Reed, 33 for Bryson and Finau as well. So outside of the Masters, Bryson's getting like very little respect at the majors in terms of these odds, which I find kind of intriguing. I think this is going to be an off of the board winner.
Do you know who's winning?
Let me see.
I'll give you my guy.
I have it narrowed down to a few guys on my short list of the kind of players that I like here. It's going to be fairway guys that can putt on POA. Like Snedeker's in play for me. Stanley's in play for me. Hatton's in play for me.
You just named my guy.
Oh, you got Hatton.
Tyrrell.
Terrell Hatton.
Yeah, and I think Tommy Fleetwood.
Like Pepperell would be someone who'd be like...
Hatton and
It feels like a Euro wins
Hatton,
at Pebble.
I am betting at... I'm betting here, and I'm betting him at the Open blind.
He is 80-1 to win the U.S. Open.
He is one of the preeminent links players on the planet. I think he thrives on difficult courses.
Think Von Taylor can win again? Ted Potter?
I am betting Hatton here and at Portrush. They'll be on my cards.
Let's not forget.
And Pepperell, too. Pepperell is one of the best hard course players on the planet. I'm excited for Matt Wallace. He didn't make my list. Is he coming over? I don't think so.
Is Kiradesh playing full time on the PGA Tour? He is, right?
He's the first guy.
Okay,
yeah.
so
he's
we'll
my
save
number
it for
10.
that. Like, is Lowry in play for this? 125-1.
I'm not betting it.
Trying to see down here.
I got one for you.
All right, hit me.
I'm not even kidding.
You know, there's a good links player, Ryan Fox.
What about
Russell Knox?
I'm gonna make like people throw up. What about a couple Chris's, like a Kirk or a Wood?
No thanks. No thanks. I think this is the best shot Norin has. We saw him putt really well on POA at Torrey last year. That was a longer course. He can hit the fairways. He can make the putts. He has the short game. I just wonder about like the length of the rough at Pebble. I'd have to go back and watch 2010. You remember 2010? Like we remember Graham McDowell won, and that's the sort of player that we're targeting. But Dustin was going to win until he shot 80 on Sunday. So there's a reason Dustin should be the favorite. The last two winners, the past 20. I don't even know.
Wasn't Dustin also this year? Like, wasn't he running away like through 2 days? Felt like it was his.
At the U.S. Open?
Yeah. And then the crazy Saturday conditions
That's because
just
he made
ended him.
every putt the first 2 rounds. He was leading the field and putting by like a
But
substantial
then it became
margin.
impossible. He got tilted on Saturday.
Yes.
Last guy out in the insanity, tilted.
And he was in the mix until like 4 holes to go at the U.S. Open too. Then Brooks ran away with it. Last one. No, you got something?
Well, no, because I think the Bombers are going to, the U.S. Open has always just been this Bombers paradise. This is the place it can rein them in.
I can see that.
And this is the place, like you said, off the board. This is the place where, like, I'm going to say it. He's not winning it, but it's Phil's last chance.
Phil doesn't drive the ball well enough.
I'm not even saying he has a chance. This is his last chance at the U.S. Open.
At the U.S. Open, his last chance at the U.S.
Yeah,
Open.
sorry. That's
because he's
what
live for the Masters.
I'm not going there. Spieth will be live there forever. I don't like him either.
Yeah, Tiger's live for
Yeah.
the Masters. Like Bubba's always going to be live at the Masters. Anyone who's played that course 20 times is going to be live. Who's won it before? Charles. I saw that today. Charles down to 78th in the world. Like he's bad now. He'll be like out of our consciousness for like 4 years. Like we won't hear about Charles Schwartzel. He'll pop up at the Masters like 5 years from now, and like be in contention.
All right, so what's Martin Keimer pay to win the U.S. Open?
I don't know if he's allowed in the U.S. Open anymore. He's sort of the perfect type of player
he
for
doesn't
Pebble.
have an exemption. He won 4 years ago.
He's
or something.
150 to 1.
Yeah, I don't know what his health is. No, you asking me for a pick today, U.S. Open? It's Tyrrell, and I might piggyback that into Portrush.
Might just pick Bryson to win them all.
I'm with you there too.
Try to go 1 of 4. I like Tommy at this one though. Tommy in the win. Tommy
Hatton, Fleetwood are the 2 I have written down.
It does feel like it's going to be a.
And if I'm betting those
Euro.
2, I can't turn away from Noren.
This could be a Stenson one too, because everyone's off Stenson because he was hurt last year. But like if he comes back healthy, like he's running out of time, he's getting old. That this could be one of the last places, and this suits his game really well. Unless the Bombers just do have a distinct advantage, which it really doesn't seem like they should. It's not a long course. And if you try to bomb and gouge, you might end up in the Pacific. That's never good.
That time of year, the wind can be ferocious.
I think at any time of the year, the wind can be ferocious at Pebble. We've seen it happen in February at Pebble.
Okay, you're right. That's true.
British Open.
I don't know much about this place.
The final Open of the year, or the final major of the year, we got Royal Portrush in Northern Ireland. Last played in 1951. That year, Phil came second. Impressive stuff. He's been playing on tour for 75 years.
Because I saw that in the note, and I'm like, what the hell's he talking about?
It's on the very northern tip of Northern Ireland, so it's on like the channel in between like Scotland and Northern Ireland. It sets up to be very windy, but as we saw with the British Open this year, for 20 minutes it can be super windy, and then all of a sudden it's really nice for 2 hours and everyone can score. It's really difficult to peg down the British Open. The last time it was played, there's no obvious corollary in terms of players because it was so long ago. They've completely revamped the course. It's a real wild card. The odds on it are Rory, Tiger, 2 co-favorites, 10 to 1. Dustin, 14. Spieth, 16. So is Rose. Fowler, 18 with Brooks. What world are we living in that Ricky and Brooks are the same odds to win a major? That's crazy. The Masters, I can get it because Ricky's played so well
I would
there.
say this is the one I would get the most.
I would say the Masters would be the one because Ricky has a track record of playing well there.
But I think Ricky is a great, like, Scottish, like, he's got a great wind player. Brooks maybe get blown up in that. I'm not making that case. I'm just saying, if you asked me, like, 5 years ago, and I said this to you, I think on many of our shows when we first did them, like, which major would be my pick for Ricky to win? It'd be the Open, because he, like, likes putting on those rain gear, and he's a great wind player. That would have been my call. We're here. He turned 30 a week ago, and I don't know, man.
Rahm, Fleetwood, Justin Thomas, 22. Justin Thomas, 22.
That's pretty disrespectful.
That's very disrespectful for him. Molinari's 25. Sergio, Stenson, Day are all 33. Bryson's 40.
Yeah, because there's too many variables for the math.
Yeah, the wind is just going to hurt him. But like Bryson has worse odds than Hideki does right now.
You know, it might be my birthday, but I don't want to talk to my mother-in-law.
Not on the show. Noren 40, Casey 40, Finau 40, Leishman, Grace. Cameron Champ's not getting a lot of buzz for the British Open.
Casey of
Champ's 66.
Casey there. Hatton though. I'm not kidding. Hatton and Pepperell.
Hatton's 55 for this. Cabrera Bello's 80.
I don't mind that.
Knox is
What's Pepperell?
Pepperell is 125 to 1.
He's for difficult courses. He's good at that stuff. Harder the course.
I haven't mentioned his name on the show because I was saving it because he cracked my top 10
so let's just
players.
Save it. Let's save it.
I got to throw it out here because we're talking about the majors and we didn't bring his name up once.
Oh, okay.
And we're talking about like a shorter hitting hard U.S. Open. That's
I don't know if you're gonna go where I think you're gonna go because he could be on my list.
It's rebound season for Danny Willett. Here we go.
He's gonna be the first guy who's gonna.
He's my number 10.
Yeah, it's gonna be my. Like, how could I not be excited about
he's on the comeback.
When you were doing the Masters, I almost didn't want to bring him up. Because his odds got crunched.
His odds are like 60 to 1 now.
I wouldn't bet
Did
it
he
for
win?
anything. Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
Oh, he won. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. He won in
Can I tell
Dubai.
you something? The week before he won, he was getting crazy steam. He was like 20, 25 to 1 to win like a tournament again. And he played horribly. That next week, the one he won was at Dubai. It was a significantly harder field. His number was like 80, and then he won. A lot of people were on him that week before, sensing that like the wheels are in motion here. I didn't bring him up on the Masters conversation because he was my first. I'm excited for him.
But he needs
because he's a normal golfer again.
Yeah, he's back to being Danny. He's not back to being Danny Willett when he won the Masters.
No, but he's just Danny Willett,
he's like good
professional golfer. I'm here. I can sign a scorecard. I can flirt
I'm not injured anymore. But if you remember, the year that he won the Masters, it was the super hard Masters when it was super windy, and he won it -4, -5, and like everyone else was over par besides Lee Westwood and Spieth. So if we get this Northern Ireland and we get the U.S. Open that's tough and could be windy for a shorter hitter, like I don't think that he's going to win the Masters. I think he has a better chance of winning the U.S. Open or British Open. He competed at the U.S. Open this year, too, and the British Open. Like, that's when he started getting his game back.
No, there was a run of him just, like, quietly plodding along, signing good cards.
I think he played well at CJ
Bottom
Cup,
of the first page of, like, leaderboards. You flip a couple pages, there's his name. Yeah.
Is Danny Willett going to get his second major before Tommy Fleetwood gets his first?
I don't know.
I mean, from a betting perspective, I would like that. Any Louis for you? Louis had a sneaky good year, despite not winning.
He just won.
He won the Louis Oosthuizen Open in South Africa. Congratulations.
Yeah, he did have a sneaky, decent year.
He was all over the place, but like just lingering inside top 10s. Because will he ever win in America?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
He has to be getting up there. He must be close to 40.
He'll win.
All right, that'll do it.
Westwood even won recently.
Westwood and Kuchar both won on the same weekend, and both of them had last won in 2014 on the same weekend. I had a lot of Kuchar. I got a lot of money to dump into Kuchar this year.
He didn't make my list because there's nothing exciting about him.
No, there's nothing exciting.
But
I have 66 bets to make on Matt Kuchar right now before I'm in the hole.
I'm feeling pretty good about. Oh, I wasn't on it from.
Oh, you weren't on that one?
No,
that was just Paul and I.
But I feel really good about his season, and even with the win, I know it was like a Nahara swing season.
Whenever you win, you win. Cameron Champ won like the biggest loser event of the year,
so
and now he's great.
Many forgotten souls right now.
Who would you say are the most forgotten players?
Well, that's gonna do the other show.
No, that's not the other show. The other show is players we're excited about.
Well, because part of being okay, fine. Gotta just dig into whatever.
Who is a?
I have a handful of guys written as forgotten. Well, they're
okay. Maybe, you know what? We will save that for the other show then. I do want to throw out Sergio is now forgotten.
There's so many guys. Everyone feels forgotten because there's this Tiger's back. There's so many world-class guys.
And then the young
And then
guys.
you have these like Wonder Kid and Cam Champ that everyone
Wonder Kid has been pushed aside.
No, but
he is no longer a thing. It's all about Cameron Champ now.
But like on the other side of it, and I'm like kind of spoiling something I was gonna say on the other show, but like it feels like you get these guys like a Cameron Smith is like
He's dust.
yeah. Do you know what there's these forgotten there's forgotten middlemen and there's forgotten children just because it seems like there's always a new flavor or something.
Which one's this? The Open Championship. Webb Simpson, 100-1.
I don't care.
He has the exact sort of game. Hitting fair, if he can start hitting fairways again. Paul Dunn. Like, why is Paul... I get that he's from Ireland, but, like, Webb Simpson should not be close to Paul Dunn in terms of odds. Matthew Fitzpatrick should never have better odds than Webb Simpson to win any tournament. I'm sorry. It's not the British Open Masters taking place in Turkey. Then maybe you can give Matthew Fitzpatrick the edge. All right, that'll do it. Pat Mayo Experience. Intro to the 2019 season. Bit of a recap as well. Remember to give the episode a like. Leave your Masters winner and your DraftKings handle in the comment section to get into a draw for 20 DK bucks. You want to get into a draw to get a free membership to Fantasy National for the year. $200 value. Maybe the price is going up. I don't know. But you can do that or get a free entry into the GUPS One and Done by sharing the show on social media. If you quote tweet it, and don't just retweet it and then reply. If you quote tweet it with your information, you might get blocked, and I might find out. I can retrack people's IP addresses, and I can make it that you can never watch the show again. Fuck off with that shit. I hate it. I hate it so much. So I ask people not to do it. They do it anyway, thinking they're like, oh, damn. Because people don't click on that sort of stuff. They click on a retweet. They don't click on a quote tweet. Because it looks like you're entering a contest. No one wants to click on that shit. So just retweet it. Natural retweet or share it. And then leave as a reply, hashtag GUP if you want to get in the GUPS Corner draw, or hashtag Fantasy National if you want to get in the Fantasy National draw. Who wins Player of the Year? Ricky did not come through for you last year. He may have been the worst player on tour last year. Him or Super Nintendo Chalmers. Oh, this is what I wanted to bring up to you. Worst putters on the PGA Tour in 2018 from January 1st through December when the season was over.
Luke List.
The bottom of there's 123 qualifiers. So these are the guys that are 175 and below. Yes, Luke List is on that list. He was the seventh worst putter on tour. The worst putter? T. Dunks. Tyler Duncan. Scott Piercy, Brendan Steele, Keith Mitchell, Satoshi Kodaira, Ryan Palmer, Molinari, Stuart Sink, Grayson, Joel Damon, Keegan, Stenson, Ryan Moore, and Corey Connors. The best putters. So like people talked about like regression, that kind of thing. Best putters on tour last year. Bo Hostler, Webb Simpson, Jason Day, Johnson Wagner, Peter Malnati, Patrick Rogers, Phil, Super Nintendo Chalmers, Alex Noren, Denny McCarthy, Griot, Snedeker, Na, Power, Kevin Kisner. So some of those guys are just historically good putters. Like guys like Malnati's always inside the top 10. Day fluctuated. But look what happened to Day when he wasn't a top 10 putter 2 years ago, and he was god-awful.
Yeah.
Like, he was not good last year, and he was saved by his putting. He won 2 events just based on his putting stroke.
So you tell me Hostler's going to regress?
Unless he's like a generational putter,
Because
like everyone
you
thought
wanna know
Spieth was.
something? Can I tell you something?
He's on your list? He's
I don't
not
know-
on my list.
He's not on my list, but I'll say he will have the most wins of any Longhorn this year.
Would you like to give me odds on that? If you're so confident that Hostler will have more wins than Spieth?
I would need odds.
Oh, so now you need odds. So now you're not so confident.
Well, to actually make the bet,
Well,
but I can
you're
say
saying
it.
that Spieth's not going to win. At worst, you push, right?
Bo Hostler will win more than Jordan Spieth this year.
I would disagree with that. Best ball strikers on tour last year. And this is what you really want to follow. If you're betting or you're new and somehow you've made it through the end of the show, here's Pat's tip on what you want to really target on the PGA Tour when you're backing people for DraftKings or betting on them, whatever. Best ball strikers in 2019. DJ, Thomas, Bryson, Woodland, Keegan, Molinari, Cantley, Stenson, List, Byung-Hun An, Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, Scott Piercy, Killa, Keith Mitchell, and Bubba Watson. And Ryan Moore. He's on that list as well. The worst? Smiley Kaufman, Daniel Summerhays, Michael Kim, Ricky Burns, BH3, Billy Hurley III. They're all on that shitty ball striking list. So when these guys win, very fluky. Unless you're Michael Kim that one week who was lights out. Stay tuned for Pat and Jeff's top 10 players.
Or player of the year.
Oh, who are you picking?
I want to pick someone.
I'm picking Bryson. Bryson, player of the year.
I want to pick Rom.
I'm going to say you should pick Cameron Champ.
I want to pick Rom.
Then pick Rahm. No one's really holding you to this.
Yeah, John Rahm.
John Rahm, player of the year.
Yeah, the guy picked last year won 0 times, so it should bode well for him.
So he'll win 0 times. He's got to defend a career builder.
John Rahm.
John Rahm's 2 wins in 2018. Career builder and the hero. The hero
doesn't count.
The hero is a very Ricky tournament to win.
That's why it was almost really funny that was Finau like almost won that. I think he was battling with Rahm. That'd have been good narrative stuff for me if it was Finau that was,
He won the Ricky Open.
Yeah.
Right, Geoff Fienberg. Check him out on Twitter at gfienberg17. You can follow me at the PME, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can subscribe to the Pat Mayo Experience audio versions. Golf content is coming back. I'll have my article up on DK Playbook every week, my cheat sheet up there. Everyone should become a member of Fantasy National right now. If you got some extra Christmas bucks or you need to buy a gift for someone, honestly, Jeff, you started using it like halfway through the year. Good system, right?
Fantasy National?
Yeah.
It's the best.
It won me. I mean, without Fantasy National, I wouldn't have won the 20 grand on DraftKings. $2.3 million in winnings from people. Just credited people on Fantasy National in 2018. So we see if we can beat that number in 2019. So we need you as members right now. So go check it out. I'm Pat Mayo. Thank you for watching. Get pumped for the PGA season. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!